Thanks for tuning in to another video, and for today I have the Google Pixel Watch 4. And I'm not going to do a full review, but I'll leave that link in the description. Today I'm just going to talk about 10 pros and cons of the watch to help you decide if this watch is right for you. So we're going to talk about the pros first. And I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, but the battery life is actually a pro on this watch. The Pixel Watch line has come a long way with battery. Now Google claims you get 40 hours of battery life with this with the always-on display on. Now I don't use the always-on display and I always have it off, and with it off, I got 3 full days of battery life with this device and still about 10% left at the end of the 3 full days, which is really amazing. It's with the always-on display off, but I was using it for sleep tracking every night, and during those 3 days there was probably about 45 minutes of GPS time outside. So for a Wear OS watch, 3 days is excellent. What else is great about this watch? Well, you can repair it. This is a screw-based construction with replaceable gaskets. There's no adhesives used in there, and you can't order quite yet because the watch just came out, but soon there'll be parts available at iFixit. You could go to their website, buy their parts, and then you could actually take this apart yourself, and then you can replace the battery, you can replace the screen all by yourself, which is awesome. That definitely increases the lifespan of the watch. And it also covers one of the cons that I have about this watch, about this display here, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Now, another pro is that this watch, I think, is smarter than most watches. And there's a couple of reasons why I say that. First off, it will automatically turn on the water lock feature. This is the only watch that I know of that actually does that. So if you go into the shower or if you go into the pool, this will automatically lock the screen so that the water droplets don't touch buttons and make it do some crazy things. And I always forget to turn that on. So that is an awesome feature, I think. So another great thing about this watch is that if you are getting a lot of notifications all at the same time, you're in a big group chat or something like that, and people are commenting every second or doing their thumbs up or, whatever, and you're constantly getting the pings and notifications for that, well, this watch will automatically soften your notifications and the vibrations on that, so your watch is not going crazy during that time. So you still get the notification alert, but again, it's not super annoying, so that's actually a really cool feature. Another smart thing on this watch is that you can change the watch face colors, and it does it in sort of an intelligent way. Okay, so let me get into settings and show you that. So we just swipe down from the top here, we hit settings, and we're right in display. And you can see how the menu here, you can see the background color there, and I'll show you how all this stuff changes. So let's get into color theme, and then it gives you this, and it's kind of nice that all these colors kind of complement each other. And you have also one that matches the watch face. Whatever colors you have on the watch face, that color, all those colors will be carried out throughout the whole watch, which is really nice. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different choices here. And you can have no theme if you want. But let me show a different one here. So again, look at the background here. We'll change it to this, and we'll apply the theme, and then all the background colors change, which is great. And if you notice, the quick toggles even changed. And the settings, everything will be changed based on the theme that you pick out, which is really nice because some watches give you the ability to change the complications and the colors on the watch face, but very few allow you to change the background colors of your settings and quick toggles and all that kind of stuff. Now, another great thing about this watch is the display. It is actually very sharp. The colors are punchy. They're very bright. It gets up to 3000 nits, which is a big upgrade from the previous Pixel watch. And actually, the auto brightness for me was very accurate. The auto brightness was just always right. Some auto brightnesses are just too dim and it's hard to read, but this one was actually perfect, which is nice. Now I'll change the watch faces throughout the video, and stay with me for the con portion of this video because the watch faces, there is some limitations that I'll go over in just a little bit. But for now, we're still talking about the pros or the positives of this watch. And you get the rotating bezel, which is great, and you also have a button here. And the rotating bezel actually works really nice. So if you go into here, it just rolls very smooth. There's a little bit of a haptic feedback to let you know you're turning it, and it just scrolls super smooth. And also the UI here, this interface, then the software just looks great as you go through, which is really nice. So not every watch pulls that off well, but the rotating bezel on this watch works great. There are a couple of cons to that as well, but I'll save that for later. So this is the new battery charger right here, and the end is a USB-C, and people like and don't like it. There's mixed feelings on it, but I really like it because it actually has a little bit of a weight to it, so it does sit just like it's supposed to. And then when you put your watch on there, it stays. And it gives you alerts like this. It just says it's not plugged in, so if you didn't realize it, it lets you know that. And again, it just sits nice here. It's a lot of watches you have to put the magnetic pins on the back here, and then you have to lay it down and hope the magnetic pin doesn't get knocked off. This one is sitting firm. You put it in there, and you know it's charging well, which is really a nice feature. Another positive of this design is that you get fast charging. So 15 minutes will get you about 50% of charge. So that's great if you wore this for sleep tracking and your morning alarm or whatever, and then you need to charge it. You just drop it on here, go get ready, do what you're doing, and by the time you get back on your wrist, it will be probably fully charged. This thing does charge very quickly. And the other nice thing is that when you do charge it, the estimated time for it to be fully charged is like 100% right. Another pro of the charging situation here is that when the watch is fully charged, you're going to get a notification to the phone just to alert you to go get your watch. It's fully charged. We're going to get into the Fitbit app here. I'll get into the two apps later. I don't like that whole situation, but we're going to get into the Fitbit here. And let me just scroll down while this is loading. Let me see if I can find it. So if I click on the heart right here, let's scroll down here. But if you look here, irregular rhythm notifications, you set it when you first get the watch, and this is automatically getting checked every moment that you have the watch on, which is great. And it will alert you if there was an issue. But there's a lot of other safety options that are available on this watch, and that's the other pro of this watch. So I'm not going to go into details on all of them. I just want to show you what's available. Stay tuned for my full review where I'll go and show you how all this stuff works and how to set everything up. And again, I don't like the two apps because now we have to visit the other app. So let's click on the Pixel Watch app here, and let me scroll down. Safety and emergency. Let me just click on this. Got an emergency SOS, which a lot of watches have, but that's nice that it has it. Then it also does have the fall detection, which not every watch has. Then also you have these two extra ones that I haven't seen on any other watches. You got a loss of pulse detection and a car crash detection, which is really great. Well, not great if you have this problem. So with these two features here, if the watch detects that it was a car crash or loss of pulse, which basically means, you passed out and your heart's not beating anymore, then this is going to call emergency services, and also if you set it up, it will also contact your emergency contact and let them know that there is an issue. So that's really great. Now, another safety feature is that on the LTE version of this watch, you have emergency access to satellite service. So if you do have an emergency, you will be able to get a satellite link and be able to contact emergency services through that link, even if you don't have cell service in that area. Okay, so what do you think? That's a pretty good amount of pros, right? Now, I was also thinking of changing the name of pros and cons to maybe like the terrific and the terrible, or maybe the fantastic and the flawed. I don't know. Leave it in the comments if you like any of those ideas, or if you have a better idea for a title for my videos where I go over the pros and cons of devices. Now, this is the middle of the video, and I usually ask everyone to subscribe at the end of the video, but it's come to my knowledge that not all of you actually make it to the end. So just in case you're one of those people that are maybe not making it, please consider subscribing right now, maybe sharing it, give me a like on the video. That really does help me out with YouTube. And again, check out my channel for the full review of this watch, and I'll also have some other tips and tricks about the Pixel Watch 4 and a lot of other gadgets and watches. So check out my channel for that stuff. Okay, now we were nice to Google in the beginning. Now we're going to go over all the cons. And the first thing, I hate this dome design. I really don't like this at all. It's growing on me a little bit over the years. And I've been wearing it for the last couple of weeks, but I still really just don't like this dome design. Like I said, every once in a while I kind of think it's cool, but mostly I just don't like it. And this is only Gorilla Glass, so it's not sapphire crystal. A lot of other flagship watches are sapphire crystal, which is much more durable. Then you have the glass that goes all the way to the edge, so there's no bezel or anything else to protect this. So obviously you could chip it on the front here, but then anything on the side, any kind of banging on the doorway or anything like that, I mean, very easy to chip this. So I don't really love this design at all. So that's enough about complaining about the design. So the other thing I don't like is the raise to talk. So this is a great feature in theory, but it just doesn't work as good as it should. And what it is, obviously when you raise your wrist like this, the display comes on. So I'm going to try to do this on camera, but I have a limited amount of space here. But basically when you raise it and you bring it to your mouth, then Gemini will light up and you'll see a little icon down here. So let me just see if I could do this. No. Oh, there we go. So now I talk and it's going to be, basically I'm asking Gemini something. And the only problem with this is I'm in the middle of a conversation and I just want to see the time. And then Gemini's listening to what I'm doing. And then it will take the question and then it will speak through the watch. And now the watch is talking while I'm in the middle of a conversation. So that is kind of a deficit. And you can change your settings on that. And I'll show you that. Well, let me just show you right now. But even changing the settings, it still is not great. It still goes off more frequently than I would want. When again, I don't need Gemini. I'm not trying to get Gemini. I'm just trying to look at the watch. So that is a bit of an issue. We could always disable it and then just push a button to have it turned on. but I don't love that. But let me just show you this. So we go into settings here, and it's in gestures, and now raise to talk. If you find it's very sensitive like I did and you just don't like it, then you could toggle it off. Now you can change the sensitivity on here. Now I put it all the way up just for the video to see if I can get it to toggle on. But even when I turn the sensitivity all the way down, it's better, but it still goes off more than I would want. And then if you do this, the voice sensitivity, so basically you can increase the sensitivity so you can kind of whisper it to your watch and you don't look like a crazy person talking out loud to yourself. And then also you get that visual indicator. You could toggle that on and off if you don't want to see that. I kind of like to see that because then I know it's on and I can disable it before it starts answering me back in public area. And I don't know. I just don't love that. The other thing is the responses are kind of slow on this. So when you ask Gemini something, it takes a little while. So let me see if I could do this. So I just put this watch face back on here because I got the Gemini right here in the middle. So I don't have to, hit a button or anything. I could just do this. What is the capital of California? Okay. Sacramento. That was super fast. Usually it doesn't go that quickly. Let me try that one more time. Who won the World Series in 2010? The San Francisco Giants. Okay. 2010 World Series. Okay, so I don't know what's going on, but now it's super fast. But when I do it, it does take a little while. I don't know what is going on here, but the watch is conspiring to make me look like a fool. But it does take a little longer than I would expect. Now, the other thing I noticed with this watch, and I don't know if it was just me or not, but when I first got the watch, every time I opened an app, I'm just talking about the slow responses of things, but every time I opened an app, it would take forever to open an app. The weather app or, the timer, anything. It would just take forever. And I thought it was a defective unit. But then when I went to go back into the weather app or the timer app for the second time, then it went through no problem at all. But the first time, for some reason, just took forever. Everything's working fine now, but in the beginning, it was definitely some glitches going on there. But so put in the comments if you had the same issue or if you noticed that, or put in the comments, what do you think about Gemini? Is that something that you like to use? Is it helpful? Do you like the gesture where you can raise it up to your mouth and talk to it? Let me know. So you're going to think I'm being very picky here, but this is something I noticed and some other people might be interested in this. But the calendar app is very basic and it only shows your events. It actually doesn't show you a monthly view or a weekly view or anything else. So let me just show you what that looks like. And we just go into the apps here and calendar. And this is what I have. It just lists out my events, which is okay. And some people might be interested in that. But I also, if someone asks me, hey, can we meet on the 17th or something like that? I'd like to be able to look at my calendar and see what's going on and just see the monthly view or the weekly view. But I can't. This is all I got. And of course, it's Google, so I could download a calendar app and be fine. But this is the Google Calendar app that's built in. And again, I only get to see events, which is kind of silly. The other thing you're going to notice is that there is no calculator app. And of course, I could download one, but there should be a stock calculator app on here. I mean, I don't use it a lot, but I use it enough that I would like it to have it on there. If the audience that Google is shooting for are people that want a simplistic watch that's easy to use, that should just be built in and I shouldn't have to download an app for that. Now, the other thing is the rotating bezel here. Again, I love the feel of it and it does kind of move nice. I don't love the way it sticks out a little bit, but again, I'm trying not to be too picky here. But you scroll down, you're going to get into your quick toggles, and then you scroll up, and then you get into your notifications. So that's great. But I'd like to have it so where I could scroll through my widgets like this real quick with using this, which would be nice. Another thing would be is if I'm on a widget, Google knows I'm looking at this widget right now, I should just be able to start scrolling and get all the details instead of me having to tap it, open it, and now start scrolling through. Yeah, again, that's picky stuff, but I would like to have that option to change that. Also, if I go into my watch faces, you just got to push and hold to get into the watch face. I should be able to scroll through them really fast, but I can't. I have to go like this, which I wish I could just scroll through it. That would be kind of cool. Now, another con is the proprietary bands. I know some people like this because it does sit a little more flush with your wrist, and maybe you get some better readings, but I'd rather have a non-proprietary band. I'd rather just have a standard one that I could change. Just because, one, I have a whole bunch of bands, so I could just change them to whatever I want. And it also gives me a lot more options if it's a standard band instead of a proprietary one. And also, it would be cheaper. And also, the proprietary bands are sometimes hard to get in and out. Now, let's get back into the battery charger real quick. So the battery charger, again, when in the beginning of the video I said I did like this, but it would be nice if you just had this puck and you didn't have this big wire to, take around with you. So if you're traveling, obviously you got to bring this whole thing. Just taking the puck would have been nicer. I think Google said that they were concerned about having people using USB-C cables that were not up to specs and not charging it fast enough, which I understand. And the wire is actually kind of long enough, so that's a nice feature. Now, I hinted to this earlier in that you have two apps here for this watch. You have a Fitbit app and you have the Google Watch app. Why couldn't you just have those merged together? Same thing with Samsung. They have 3 apps to run the watch. Why can't you just merge that together? But for some reason, 2 different apps. I don't know why they can't do that. Now, Fitbit will be upgrading their app. Who knows exactly when, but in the next few months. And when they do upgrade that, I will give you a full review of the new app and show you all the features within that. The other concern with these apps is that they are both very simplistic, which, some people might like, but there's very little customization on this. I mean, I can't change the frequency of my heart rate, and I can't change the frequency of my stress monitoring. Every other watch allows me to do that, but not on the Pixel. On the Pixel here, I got the double press on this thing. I got a button over here. I can't customize these things at all, which is a shame. Very easy for me to just be able to double press this button and open up an app that I use all the time. But again, Pixel doesn't allow me any customization on it, which is really kind of sad. And again, the amount of customizations and things you can do are very limited. And that probably is by design to try to make it easier to use. But most people who are buying a smartwatch like this are pretty tech savvy, and they would probably like to have a little more customization. So that's not there. So another con, or another lack of customization, is the workout data that you can see when you're working out. So if you're doing a workout, this is 4 data points that you have. And if you swipe up, you can see here there's 2 little toggles here. If you swipe up, a slightly different data, but basically the same. And there's not much customization you can do on this. So let me show you that. Okay, so this is the information for the hike. I'm just going to go into the settings here, and we got our workout views. And again, you can see what's there, not much, but basically this is the key metrics. This is the thing I wanted to show you. If we click on this, I got 4 slots or 4 data points that I can have. And different exercises have their own metrics that they can show here, but you're still very limited. So let me just show you here. Instead of distance in slot 1, if I click on this, this is my options. So a few things, but other watches offer a lot more options. Now, this is what I have for slot 1. Now, if I go back here and I go to slot 2, it's the same variables here. So this is the same things here, not much that I can customize it to. And I can't have it where I just have 2 things on here or just 2 data points. And I also can't edit so that I have like 2 or 3 screens to scroll through to see different data points. This is basically it. So very limited customization on what you can do for the exercises. Okay, now we're going to get into the last con. I hope I'm not dissuading you from buying the Pixel Watch, but I want you to have all the information to make a good decision before you buy this, because this is not a cheap watch. Now let's get into the Pixel Watch app, and I'm going to show you the watch faces. This is the other thing I don't like about the watch. And if we click on the watch face, and we're going to add a watch face. And now, if you look here, these going across, this is actually the same watch face. It's just, most companies would call this one watch face and then give you customizations where you can change the colors and then you can change the complications of them. But this is counted as 10 watch faces and it's really just one. Same thing here. This is just a slight change on the watch face. And again, this is sometimes maybe 1 or 2 watch faces that would cover all these. I mean, look at this. This is all the same. This would be just a watch face that you would change some of the complications in the display on there. And same thing here. And same thing here. These are all basically the same thing. And if you scroll through here, there's not that many watch faces. That's it. And again, considering that all of these are basically the same watch face with just different colors. So there's not that many. Now, of course, this is Wear OS, so I could download a bunch of other watch faces from the Google Play Store and from Facer and all that other stuff. But, sometimes I don't want to do that. I just want to have a stock watch face and something to choose from. And I'm sure a lot of people would prefer to have that. Again, Google's trying to make things simple. It should have a little bit more to choose from here. And if you download a couple of watch faces from Facer or the Google Play Store, sometimes those things use up more battery than they're supposed to. And that's why I like to have the stock apps, because I know they're customized and optimized for the software. So those are the pros and cons of the Pixel Watch 4 that I found so far. Another catchphrase I'm thinking about, instead of pros and cons, how about opportunities and obstacles? Leave it in the comments if you like any of those. And leave it in the comments if any of these pros and cons were helpful for you. If it may help you make a decision, I'd really appreciate hearing about it. Check out my channel for the full review of this watch and other tips and tricks for the Pixel Watch and other watches and gadgets. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.